Jim Harbaugh has finally signed a contract extension, and we here at the Michigan Football Report are presented by the Fetch Rewards app. Go over to chatsports.com/fetch. Use promo code Michigan for 3,000 bonus points. Scan your receipts in any store. Turn those receipts into points. Turn those points into gift cards at places like Amazon, Starbucks, and Target. All right. Top of the show, you heard me say it. Jim Harbaugh has agreed to a new contract extension, we should call it, with the University of Michigan after flirting with the NFL for 30-ish days. And a couple weeks ago on National Signing Day, really actually 2 weeks to the day, he went up to the Twin Cities, to Minneapolis, St. Paul, to interview with the Vikings. Thought he was getting the job, apparently, but it didn't work out for whatever reason. I'd love to be a fly on the wall of Jim Harbaugh's life for those 24 hours, kind of flying up on a Tuesday night to interviewing, to finding out he wasn't getting the job, and then calling Warde Manuel and saying, well, I'm going back to the job. But Bruce Feldman, I guess, I think he's actually tapped Jim Harbaugh's phone. It's a good thing for him because he was actually the first one, if you recall back about 5-6 weeks ago, that was the first one to report, hey, hearing from people inside the halls of Schembechler that Jim Harbaugh has some definite interest in extending his or going to the NFL, seeking the NFL, etc. So you see there, we'll kind of dive into it. It's a 5-year contract, really just extends the last year's contract by 1 year. But we're going to talk about the financial details, much of which is still speculation. Michigan hasn't officially released it. I'm guessing it'll come out in a Freedom of Information Act request by some local blog boy. But they put this on what? Social media, is that right, producer Matthew? So Jim Harbaugh and Michigan football put this out on social media, basically a go blue, and the school officially released a handful of quotes and statements from both Warde Manuel and Jim Harbaugh that I will bring you here in just one moment. Before I do, though, get down in the comments and let me know, folks. Give me a one-word reaction to Jim Harbaugh's contract extension with Mitch, really reworked contract with the University of Michigan to really, I think in a lot of ways, hopefully, as long as he's still winning, remain their head coach, potentially the rest of his career. I know it only goes, 5 more seasons, but I would guess that this will be one of these things that every 2 years or so, they'll keep extending it out another 2 or 3 years. Go down in the comments and let me know. I'm going to give you my one-word reaction. It's going to be a word I'm creating, which is about time. That is one word. I hyphenated about time for Jim Harbaugh and Michigan to get this thing done, because the season, frankly, folks, ended 47 days ago now. I'm sorry, 47 days ago. And this contract has been rumored for, probably close to 75 days or so. So let's take a look at what we know here. Harbaugh and Michigan, they've agreed to this contract to the 2026 season. So 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So 6 years on the deal at 2, 3, 4, 5. So I guess that's only 5 more years that are on his contract. Extends him one more year. He was through 2025, now through 2026. Financial terms are not disclosed, but there's been speculation and rumblings in the in the Michigan internet sphere that it's not going to be some blockbuster deal where Jim Harbaugh is all of a sudden, once again, one of the top 2 or 3 highest paid coaches in college football. But it'll probably be slightly below what Michigan State's head coach Mel Tucker makes, what Penn State's head coach makes. They're both making $8 million, $8.5, $9 million a year. So I'm going to guess that this comes and almost nearly doubles Harbaugh's salary right now. His current one, he is making $4 million per year. I'm going to guess this puts him up, and he made 6 or so with his bonuses and incentives in 2021. I'm going to put it at 7.5 to 7.75 million is his base, with the opportunity to maybe make 1 to 2 million more if he were to win the Big Ten, win the Big Ten East, win the college football playoff game, national title, that he could potentially make up to maybe $9.5 million right there. You see the bottom of the screen, Michigan's direct rival, the guy who, frankly, Jim Harbaugh owns at this point, right? Ryan Day has never beat Jim Harbaugh at home in Columbus. He's going to his 4th year as Ohio State's head coach. Never beat Harbaugh there. Kind of a underwhelming performance by Day. And Harbaugh hasn't lost to Ryan Day until kids who are now in their 3rd, 4th year of life, right? Kids who were born in December of 2019. They're in their 4th year of life, right? 19, 20, 21, 22. They've never seen Michigan lose to Ryan Day in Ohio State. So Day's making 7.6. So clearly, I think Harbaugh should at least making $1 more than that. Outside of this, we've been taking a little bit of break from this show. Haven't done as much content over the last 2 weeks. A lot of things going on around the company. But Michigan added this Victor's Exchange program for name, image, and likeness. I haven't personally gone in and applied to be part of it for this show or for our company here, Chat Sports, but I know a few people who have, and it seems like it's a few-day process. You've got to put some things together to make sure you're a legitimate entity. You've got a tax ID, you've got this, that, and the other, and then you can have access to offer Michigan athletes kind of see their rates and their deals. So I think it's a good first step, and I hope Michigan proactively reaches out to prominent alumni and wildly wealthy fans like me, who may be interested in wetting the beak here for some of these Michigan football athletes. So that is what we know. We're going to dive more into it. We're going to talk about this Michigan football coaching staff and what we kind of project Jim Harbaugh's contract status and future around this program are here in a second. But did want to tell you about today's sponsor, the Fetch Rewards app. It is taking over the office here. It's a talking point at home. Anytime my wife goes shopping, I'm like, where are the receipts? And I'll tell you what. Went to the grocery store a couple days ago for had the Fetch Rewards app in my hand. It was actually Super Bowl Sunday, an hour before, get some beer for the game. Came out, girls selling Girl Scout cookies. They started selling Girl Scout cookies. I saw a woman with a receipt in their hand. I'm like, hey, do you mind if I have your receipt? Can I scan it really quick? Trying to get some rewards. Add more rewards. Took someone else's receipt, cheating the system, but now I got myself a $10 Amazon gift card with all the receipts I am scanning. So you see on the screen, you can connect your Amazon account. You can connect your email address. So anytime a receipt is emailed to you, they're automatically scanning it. It's earning points for the shopping you're already doing, right? There's nothing else to spend here. You can go to any store, big or small, scan the receipts, turn those receipts into points, and then once you reach a certain level of points, you basically take those points and turn them into free gift cards. Target, Amazon, Airbnb, Marriott Hotel, Starbucks, really pretty much anywhere. There's hundreds of stores you can redeem their gift cards for. Get the Fetch Rewards app. Use the link that you saw on the screen, chatsports.com/fetch. It's down in the comments, down in the description of the video. Use our link. Make sure that we sent them. And, of course, use that promo code Michigan. 3,000 bonus points. You can start getting free gift cards at 10,000. So you get 30% of the way there. You scan receipts for a few weeks. Boom, you got your first free gift card. Fetch Rewards app for iPhone and Android. Chatsports.com/fetch. With Jim Harbaugh resigning this contract, and hopefully, I really hope he learns from the bad, mixed messaging in the media this past, 6 or so weeks. I really hope Michigan goes all in on NIL. I think this Victor's Exchange is probably the best they can do in the short term, right? You remember, Name, Image, and Likeness has only been out for 7.5 months, July 1st of 2021, and now we're sitting here February 16th of 2021. So they would get a good start, a little bit behind other places. Certainly haven't gotten all the car deals and stuff from big donors like Ohio State and stuff has, but I hope they proactively reach out. They're calling big alumni, hey, would you donate to the university? How about, hey, billionaire, hey, James Yoder, $100 million net worth, whatever. Could you go on to this name, image, likeness program and wet the beak a little bit? Maybe you want to press that buy J.J. McCarthy's services for $10,000 so we can drive a Ferrari on campus? I don't know. Can you also maybe nudge that 5-star cornerback we're recruiting? Tell him about the cornerbacks deal of Charles Woodson's wine business. Maybe he could be a spokesman once he turns 21. I don't know, but I think Michigan needs to be a little proactive and not just say, hey, we've got this portal. We'll see what happens there, because the other schools, Texas A&M, Alabama, Ohio State, they're making sure their big alumni are going in there, getting in there, and making big-time offers to their athletes. Folks, if you like this Jim Harbaugh deal, at least the fact that it's over and that hopefully the terms of this deal prevent Jim Harbaugh from really thinking about other jobs in the future, give me a like on this video. Let's get the karma, the off-season vibes going in a good direction. We did it all season long. I don't want to take credit for it. I can't. You guys should take credit for it as the audience. You liked videos almost all season long for the big games: Nebraska, Wisconsin, Washington, Ohio State, Penn State. Didn't really go for Michigan State or Georgia, but I think there was probably because somebody didn't like the video. So I blame the guy who's sitting there agreeing with me. I didn't like the video. So if you want Jim Harbaugh to continue the Big Ten championship, beat Ohio State vibes, give me a like on this video. Let's make sure we're heading into February into March into spring practice, which might get started next week, not officially announced, but we'll have more on that later in the week. One thing I'm interested to see with Jim Harbaugh kind of cementing his spot as Michigan's head coach is, will this name, image, and likeness portal lead to them landing bigger recruits and not just paying guys who are already on campus that came here with no incentives? I think Michigan needs to be very proactive when a guy is interested, a player is interested, or even gives a verbal commitment, leading up to that or right after that, they have some sort of insight, and Michigan is proactively making name, image, likeness a part of this presentation. so they can get more than 1 or 2 5-stars every year or so and get into that mode of Ohio State, Texas A&M, Clemson, Georgia, Alabama. Get 3, 4, 5, 6 5-star players every class, or at least 3 or 4 if you want to beat Georgia and Alabama on teams like that more consistently. A lot of moves to the coaching staff. Jim Harbaugh is back as coach, but both coordinators are gone. Josh Gaddis took a demotion to be the OC at Miami. Mike McDonald headed off to kind of a promotion, I guess, to the Baltimore Ravens. I think he's going to be an NFL head coach one day. I hope he learned what he liked in Ann Arbor enough that maybe Michigan head coach one day too, potentially. Sharon Moore has been elevated, I guess, to your primary play caller. Was co-OC, will remain offensive line coach as well. But he apparently is going to be the main play caller, but I'm guessing Jim Harbaugh will have a lot of say in that. Matt Weiss, quarterbacks coach and been elevated to co-OC. Jesse Minter coming over from Vanderbilt. He is your defensive coordinator. Steve Klinkscale, clause in his contract kind of made him automatic co-DC this year, but Minter is the DC. I'd say Klinkscale is more of like the defensive passing game coordinator, kind of, it's elevated title. Give him a raise and make sure he's not looking around for a DC job at a smaller school or anything like that. Let's take it. Do we have more coaching moves we had to go to? Do we skip a few there? Okay, yeah, let's go. Yeah, you're right. Go to that first. Talk about Jesse Minter, Michigan's new defensive coordinator. If you missed the show, we announced his hiring. He was the defensive coordinator and safeties coach last year with Vanderbilt. Spent 4 seasons prior to that with the Ravens in a few different positions. He was DB coach, co-DB coach, assistant DB coach, and then kind of like defensive analyst. And then spent 8 years at a few different schools, a couple different schools, Georgia State and Indiana State, under the same head coach as defensive coordinators. I guess the last 2 of those at Indiana State as DC. And then Cincinnati as a grad assistant, 2007, 2008 under Brian Kelly, and actually 2006 under Charlie Weiss. No relation to Matt. He was a defensive intern in 2006 for Notre Dame. More coaching moves. Ron Bellamy from safeties coach switched over to wide receivers coach, where he was originally hired a year ago. Good move by Michigan. Grant Newsome, 24 years old, former Michigan big-time recruit, got injured, has been on the coaching staff as kind of a grad assistant for the last 3 seasons. Mike Elson over from Notre Dame, lateral move. Also, Mike Elson, recruiting coordinator from Michigan. So interesting, Michigan hasn't done that as having a coach be recruiting coordinator in at least like 15, 20 years or so. It's been a long time, back in the mid-Lloyd Carr days. And then Jay Harbaugh, special teams. He's back filling Bellamy's role. He will also coach the safeties, which he's never done. But Jay Harbaugh is much like his uncle John, has proven that he can coach on both sides of the ball, special teams. He is kind of jack of all trades, and I think he's doing this in a lot of ways in defense to set himself up to be a head coach before too long. Michigan has 12 games on the schedule for next season. It's a pretty easy schedule. No out-of-conference games that I think are losable. They play Iowa. They play Penn State at home. They play Iowa, I think, on the road. Nebraska again. Ohio State, of course. Michigan State. That Michigan State game is back at home. Ohio State. But predicting those 12 games, what Michigan's record will be, I think, folks, I'm going 11-1. I know they lost a ton on defense, Hassan Haskins, etc. But I think this team is reloading and has enough of an easy path, both what teams they're playing and where those games are, home or away, that they should go into the Ohio State game at worst 10-1, maybe 11-0. Is Jim Harbaugh worth the contract extension, though? 12-2, start off the year 12-1, but now he falls to losing record against Michigan State, right? 3-4 after losing the last 2 years. He beat Ohio State, but he's 1-5 against Ohio State. Disastrous 2020 season, 2-4, 9-4 year. All these years are very slanted because Harbaugh has had a really good start. Mid-November, you're feeling really good about Michigan. Basically, every year he's been here outside of 2020. Then you lose Ohio State. Then you lose the bowl game. 5 straight years. I mean, it was like clockwork. And so I guess 4 straight years like clockwork. And 1 and 2 loss seasons turn into 3 and 4 loss seasons pretty quickly when you lose to Ohio State, when you lose the bowl game every single year. So this year's a little different. Won that bowl game. Won that Ohio State game. Won the next game, the Big Ten title game, which they hadn't been in before. And then, of course, lost the bowl game. But I don't think that should be a knock on the record. 12-2, I think he's the right guy for the job as long as he can keep up the tenacity and the approach and be a forward-thinking coach, kind of 2015, 16, and 2021 Harbaugh. That's the Harbaugh I want. I don't want the guy that came in there and was kind of half-assing it for 2 or 3 seasons in between. So that is the word on Jim Harbaugh and his time at Michigan. Got some quotes for you coming up, but I do want to remind you guys, subscribe for breaking news updates like these. We're putting out the fastest video on YouTube here from the Michigan Football Report. We've got the biggest audience, the most subscribers, the best looking viewers, of course, and I'm really appreciative to all of you who have gone along with us on this ride, nearing 20,000 subscribers. Let's take a look at the comments, the quotes from Jim Harbaugh, Warde Manuel. It's been a long video so far, so producer Matthew, let's just burn through these. Jim Harbaugh, I'm not going to read it word for word. I love Michigan, the University of Michigan, Michigan football, Ann Arbor, yada, yada, yada. My family and I, yada, yada, yada. I appreciate that our players and our coaches and staff have doing to excel on and off the field. My enthusiasm for tomorrow, the day after, every day is as high as ever. We are excited to get ready for the 2022 season. Warde Manuel, Michigan's athletic director for the past 3 or 4 years. Jim has done a great job in coaching and developing young men. Last season, with the staff and the players, delivered a memorable season. Absolutely one of the most memorable seasons of my lifetime, that's for sure. And then Warde Manuel says, we have graduated our players, and they have been young men of great character who have done the right things. I have the utmost confidence in the direction, the program under Jim's leadership, and as Michigan athletic director, Warde Manuel. Folks, we started this movement 18 months ago. Maybe almost 22 months ago. It was a month or two after the loss to Alabama in the 2019 season bowl game. Beat Ohio State again. Now it doesn't mean like we used to. It means again back-to-back. One more time like it happened this year. So go ahead, type Bosa. Let's not forget where we came from as a group. This is a team that could not beat Ohio State. This is the show that could not beat Ohio State. And now, frankly, Michigan's dominating Ohio State. And I don't know if you guys saw their athletic director today. Came out and was like, well, if the college football playoff changes and Ohio State gets a home game, we should play in the dome. And I'm just like, what, you guys couldn't handle the snow in Ann Arbor? Your program is that shook that your athletic director is trying to advocate for taking the game out of Columbus and moving to, what, Indianapolis or Detroit or something like that? Absolutely despicable. Michigan, I think, has broken this program. Coldred Stroud completely broken as a player, and I think it's going to continue on next year. So type Bosa down in the comments. Been a little break for me, folks. But I'll be back and better than ever. This news was in an interviewing a candidate for a job here. Jumped out of my chair, told him, can't do it, pal. Not hiring you because I got to go jump on air and do this show. Kind of kidding on that. We finished the interview. But I'll be back with more content later on in the week. Until then, folks, go Blue.